T-minus 30 seconds. T-minus 20 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Good.
You ready for do more in the future? Trap Talk podcasts?
Yes.
Man.
Only Trap Talk. Exclusive.
Yes.
Exclusive. Oh.
So stop calling us.
Rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the crop, gotta love it or not. I'm hot from the hop to the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with everybody, we do it. Everybody, we do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up.
You're now tapped into the coolest reptile podcast in the world. Whew. I'm your boy MJ. What is good? Happy Monday, everybody. If this is your first time tapping in, do your boy a favor, hit that subscribe button. That way you're on top of every single podcast I drop here on the Trap Talk with MJ podcast YouTube channel. That way you're not slept on any information that gets spat here on this channel. So much info getting put out here. If you're a reptile lover, you're in the right place. So anyways, hit that subscribe button. Smash that like button for the guest. If you're liking it, show me, man. Hit that like button and then drop a comment in the comment section, not in the live. I mean, I love live chats, don't get me wrong, but drop a comment. Let me know how you're liking the shows. I hope I'm sounding okay. I finally figured out my game. Yay. But guys, super excited for tonight. Shout out to the early birds. Shout out to all my subscribers, all my recurring viewers. If you're somebody who keeps coming back and not subscribing, you're a Gilligan. You're on an island lost. You don't know what the fuck you have going on. But for some reason, if you're trying to get off that island, hit that subscribe button, man. Show some support. Busting these out like it's nothing. You feel me? Anyways, let's get down to business. You guys know how we get started here on this channel. For the freshest and bestest rodents delivered to your doorstep, there's only one place to go. Cold-blooded cafe, baby. Number one in the game. $30 flat rate shipping straight to your house. Shout out to Steven. Shout out to Desiree. Shout out to John and Alex over at Sim Container. If you got eggs, put them in a sim box. Less steps, less stress. If it's a sim, it's a win. Shout out to Ashley and Steven over at Focus Cube Habitats. Finally sent me my tracking information on my fucking Focus Cube Habitat builds that are coming. Man, I'm about to have a busy week. Hopefully they come this week. But anyways, shout them out, man. I mean, shout out to them. Please go to their Instagram and go to their website. Place an order, please. They're the shit. Speaking of the shit, number one stainless steel racks made out of the United States. Freedom Breeder, baby. The OG, triple OG Freedom Breeder Rack Company. Shout out to Jesse. Shout out to the entire Freedom Breeder crew. Thank you for everything that you guys do for this industry. I'm telling you right now, it's amazing to have these racks finally in my collection. What a feeling. What a feeling to say Always Evolving Pythons supports the trap since day one. Big bro type shit. This is my brother right here. Appreciate you supporting Miguel. Please go give him a follow on Instagram. Also, go check out his availability that he'll have on Morph Market. And then most importantly, go subscribe to his YouTube channel. This guy kills it on anything this guy touches, he kills it. I'm telling you right now. I'm telling you right now, this is my boy. Thank you so much for your support, Miguel. Tina, thank you so much for dealing with Miguel and being my friend. And shout out to the entire AEP family. You guys are amazing. Shout out to my boy Alan over at Amazing Basins. This guy right here is a shoo-in, working with such an amazing fucking species of snakes. And it's crazy how his name's Amazing Basins, and all I could keep saying is amazing when I'm thinking of basins. So the guy named it. I mean, he killed it with the name, I'll tell you that much. But anyway, shout out to my boy Alan, big bro, doing big shit. Go give him a follow on Instagram. He has a lot of things in the works this year. Just showed me his first ball python clutch. Congrats, big bro. I don't want to tell too much, but please go over to Instagram and give my boy a follow. Thank you for your support, Alan. And then shout out to Blake Stewart over at Stewart Design. If you like to invest in your brand to the fullest extent, this is the guy you want to go to. Check him on Instagram. Thank you so much for your support, Blake. And then shout out to Mark Bailey, Reptiles OG, triple OG in the game. I'm telling you, highly respected. I appreciate you so much, Mark. Thank you for your support. Head over to Morph Market. Check out his ball python availability. All heat. Mark Bailey Reptiles. Thank you for your support, big dog. And then shout out to the leaders of the industry. Rami, Reptile Super Show, #1 show on the West Coast. Killing it. Thank you so much, bro. Anaheim right around the corner. Who's ready for Anaheim? Who's ready for Trap Fest 2022? Damn, that shit's going to be epic. Are you going, Patreon members? Anyways, Rami, thank you so much. Appreciate your support. And then, dude, Brian Potter, Bob Ashy, gangsters when it comes to reptile shows. They throw the Super Bowl of reptile shows. I'm telling you, you do not want to miss an NARBC. Make it happen, especially if you really plan on being in this hobby for, if you're a lifer like me, dude, you got to go to NARBC. Just put it on the agenda. I'm telling you right now, you're going to meet somebody legendary and it's going to change your life like myself. Anyways, thank you so much to all these three guys for making the, just making this hobby move in a direction that it needs to, all because we could link up, come together, come up with ideas, and have some really fun times, smoke a lot of weed, and do some other stuff. Awesome. Shout out to Phil Goss, US ARC. The fight never stops. Please go down to the link below, become part of the US ARC team, and let's fight. Let's fucking get these people off our cases because it's never going to stop. Head down to the link and also become a US ARC or subscribe to the US ARC YouTube channel. And please stay on top of all current events and whatnot. That way, in case it hits your area, you'll be ready, and you can start telling people. But anyways, proactively do that. That's what US ARC's all about, because you never know when it's going to go down. Thank you so much, Phil Goss. Cannot wait for the next auction at the next reptile show, which I believe is Anaheim. So cannot wait. It's going to be awesome. And then if you want to know what I have going on other than the podcast stuff, if you want to know what hatchlings I have cracking off and, obviously just ball pythons. Yeah, man, hit me up, come check me out on Instagram. I'm very active on Instagram, MJ Exotics Cartel. Go give your boy a follow. And then go follow the podcast's Instagram page as well. Chop Talk with MJ podcast. Shout out to my Twitch viewers. Appreciate anyone who watches me on Twitch. And then I got to say, if you guys would like to support this channel more than a subscription, like, or a comment, I take any donations over at PayPal, Exotics Cartel with an A, not an E. So thank you so much for all the donations. You guys are amazing, man. I don't deserve it, but you guys like to send me shit. So thank you. Much love. Hella respect. I will not stop this. This is my full-time gig. I am going to go hard in the motherfucking paint. You feel me? Super chats. If you have a question for Jessica, we're going to be getting into some serious topics here of testing and Nido and all sorts of shit. So in case you guys get confused, if you have a question for the homegirl Jessica, this girl's fucking knowledgeable. She knows her shit. So if there's something you want to ask, super chat that. I will make sure I get that super chat question put on the prompt, teleprompter here, whatever the fuck, the big screen, and then we'll get Jessica to answer that, hopefully, or unless you have me to answer a question, I'll do that too. But anyways, super chat questions. Don't be shy. Throw out those super chats for the homegirl Jessica. Let's go. Last but not least, shout out to my Patreon members, my trappers, my day oneers. Thank you for your support. I appreciate you guys so much. If you out there want to support this channel and become a part of the Trap Talk Patreon family, go down to the link below. Come fuck with us, man. I'm telling you, come join the Patreon family. You get tapped into a Discord where there's so many different options of fun stuff that you get to share, be a part of. All about surrounding life, man. All positive shit. So please, come join the Trap Talk Patreon family if you want to get more out of this. Appreciate all my support. Appreciate all my love. You guys are awesome. Really, that's all I can say. I don't deserve it, but you guys are awesome. Love you guys. Who is here, ready to rock and roll for this fucking new breed on the block series? I'm pumped because, Jessica is actually one of the Patreon family members, man. But not only that, she goes on top of her shit. We're going to tap in just a second. I got to say what up with my early birds, because if it's one thing that gets me excited for this show is when I tap in for a sound check and I see all these fucking people in the early bird comments. Thank you so much. Let's go. Who's here? Shane Kelly? What's good, Shane Kelly, my guy? Oh, I miss Shane, man. Shane moved to Tennessee, and he's just kicking with Tennessee people now. And Appreciate you, Shane. Dude, I have like a deep love for Shane, man. Not like that, but I'm just saying, like, we go back to where like a lot of our up and comings were side by side. So Shane, I'm so glad to see you here. Tap in with my boy Shane. Follow on Instagram. Yes, I need a round 2 with my boy Shane. That's coming up. I'll reach out to you soon. My boy Julio, what is good? Trap Talk Patreon fan member all day, every day. The homie Hector Garcia, what is good? Thanks for tapping in. Wise Guy, thanks for tapping in. 1776 Exotics, Big Mike in the building. Trap Talk VIP Patreon member all day, every day. The homegirl Chantel, Pacific Rim Serpents, what's up, homegirl? Team Zoo Dreams, Trap Talk Patreon fan member all day, every day. The homie Sean Perry over at Sound Serpents, Trap Talk Patreon fan member all day, every day. Lou Balls, what's up? Damn, I haven't seen you in a minute. What's good, Lou Balls? Thanks for being here. Damn, the homie Lizard Morphs in the building, who's going to be tapping here this Sunday. Australia is going to be tapping into the trap this Sunday. Be ready. Thank you so much for your support. Please go down the link and set your reminder for that episode. It's 1 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, Sunday. The homie Jacob Letterbetter. What is good? The homie Jacob Letterbetter. Thank you for cruising down and bringing the gel. That's good. This guy came down and helped me ultrasound my some of my collection. Found out that my monoquery green tree python is at 15 millimeters. So guess what? Paired that bitch up, and she's locked, looking right at her. Thank you, Jacob. No, you can't get a baby. I'm just kidding. That's a joke. Jason, what is good? Thank you for tapping in. And by the way, Jacob's big time Trap Talk Patreon, Trap Talk Management. It's my boy. Best believe it. Jason, Barbara J in the building, Trap Talk Patreon family member, Team Zoo Dreams, OG. What me and Force's homie is. I love this guy to death. It's my boy right here, Jay. Cannot wait to hang out with you again soon, Jay. Jay, did you say you're going to Trap Fest? I can't remember if you said that in Zoom. I don't know if you were tripping. Sometimes you just be saying shit. So I don't know if you meant that. Are you going to Trap Fest? Don't fuck with me. Let me know. Eric's More Factory, what is good? Thanks for tapping in. Perry Post. What's up, Perry Post? It's a sick-ass name. Thanks for tapping in. The homie Clutch. Trap Talk Patreon fan member all day, every day. Deviant Glass, what is good? Trap Talk Patreon fan member all day, every day. Royal Bama Reptiles, Blake and Alexis, what is good? Trap Talk Patreon fan member all day. The homie Josh, Scale Fins and Feathers, sponsor of this coming Thursday's remote podcast with Brandon Wheeler. Thank you. That's being brought to you by this guy right here, Scale Fins and Feathers. Go give him a follow on Instagram right now. That's my boy. Thank you so much, Josh. Cannot wait to collab with you more in the future. The homie Juwan, I hope I said that right. Ballistics Pythons. Did a sick-ass trap talk with him as well. And we're going to end it with a Canadian. I don't know why, but I just want to end it with a Canadian. Thank you so much, June. June, right? Is it June? Juwan? My bad. I know your name, bro. Don't fuck, whatever. Wait, hold on. I saw someone very play. Here we go. Rami, ladies and gentlemen, the Reptile Super Show. Be ready. July 9th and 10th. Let's go. Rami, I'm excited. You excited? I know you're excited. All right, here we go. Thank you so much. We're going to end it with Rami. All right, guys. New breed on the block. Here we go. We got Jessica Hare tapping in from Hare Hollow Farms, and I'm pretty sure she's from the PNW. Here she is.
Hey.
What's up, Jessica?
Good. Shane's going to be sad you wouldn't, do some space docking with him because he's been popular recently.
Wait. Jessica, why are you coming at me right off the bat?
Because you dropped it in the beginning. I couldn't stop. It was crazy.
Are you saying I should bring him back on the show? What are you saying? I'm confused.
You just said you wouldn't go gay for Shane. I was just making a joke about that.
Oh, I see.
Right away.
Oh, well, dude,
doesn't take long.
Dude, he was in prison. Can you relax? I don't want him to go. You never know what he was going through then, and I don't want him to think anything. Please, Shane, we're home.
You might trigger him a little bit.
Please. Dude, Jessica, what is good? Thank you for dude, honestly, I want to say thank you for your support. You're a Patreon member, but you also show love and I don't know, man. I want to say thank you for being a homie and being a supporter, but also what is good? How's everything on your end? You got a podcast that you started a couple months ago that you never told me about. We have a lot of catching up to do. What is good with you?
We're doing great. We're actually getting ready to move, which is chronicled on the podcast. Too much sadness on my part, but besides that part, we're doing great.
Move where?
Oklahoma. With the Air Force.
And wait, you are in the PNW right now, right? You are in Washington.
Right. So we're selling the farm, moving.
Whoa.
I know. It's crazy.
Okay, what part of Washington, just so I could have it in my mind? I forget.
South Sound, so sort of just east of Olympia.
Oh, okay. So you're established in Washington. I mean, you were there for how many years? How many years have you been there at the farm and been in Washington altogether?
We bought the property in 2019. We PCS to JBLM in, I think, the fall before that, so 2018. But I'm an East Coast girl originally.
Right. Okay. I remember you telling me that now. Okay. So what led to you having to, pack things up and taking everything to Oklahoma?
So we just got change of duty stations. Air Force says you got to go. You got to go, bitch.
Goodness. God damn.
Yeah.
He's in the Air Force now.
He's almost done because he did time. My husband did time in the Marines. And so he did a little bit of Air National Guard. Then he was like, that sucks. And so he went active, just like finish out his 20. So it will be, that's our terminal station in Oklahoma. So after that, we get to pick the best destination after that.
Okay.
I don't know where that is, though.
Hey, I know some sick ass keepers in Oklahoma, though. Oklahoma definitely has some keepers. Shout out to Warren Booth. Although Warren Booth is moving to Virginia, but still, Oklahoma, there are some sick ass keepers.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, at some point, I hope that's not my case because things are, you understand where I'm at. A year ago, my landlord came to me and said, I need you out in 60 days. And I was like, what? And I was like, you're tripping. I was like, because we've been here for about 6 years. I've been really tight with her. And because COVID happened, she has all these crazy ideas, doesn't no longer want to sell me the house and wants to build stuff in the very back. So, and I get that respect, but fuck that. I got money we're talking here. I'm not going to just stop the pairing. So I was able to explain that to her and she was very receptive to it. And luckily she was understanding because her biggest priority is doing work in the backpack and whatever. I told her, do what you got to do. I'll do what you got to do back there. And fuck the alpacas. If you want me to get rid of the alpacas, they could go too. God, God bless it doesn't happen. I love Tia and Tamara, but if I have to, all that matters is my snakes. You know what I'm saying? So, but anyways, where was I going with that?
Being forced to move potentially.
Oh, right. Yes. Thank you. I love Jessica. Anyone else would be like, I don't know. Okay. So, yes. So either way, like I was in that position where she gave me that notice and I was like, holy shit, I might have to fucking move. Like we need to buy a house. We might need to rent. All these things started happening. And I was even looking in Oregon, just looking at places. But all I knew was like, I had to be prepared to take everything that's breeding good here and take it to a whole nother location. And I want to know how you're prepared for that or what you're doing to get ready to handle this move. I'm curious. Sorry.
I mean, it's hard because I also have to like worry about biosecurity. So I can't cross-contaminate animals on the way there either.
Right. Oh my God.
So for the most part, I want to put a bullet in my head. But instead of doing that, I'm going to try to still keep sort of isolation based on like tubs. So putting animals in tubs or animals in insulated containers and then moving them in sort of a temperature controlled transport. It also sucks ass. We're moving in July, the hottest time of the year.
Yeah. Damn.
So we don't want to kill anybody on the way there. But if somebody's like midway through their follicle development, I just sort of is like, whatever. I mean, you're going to reabsorb or not. It's destiny one way or the other. It's just most important to me to not cross-contaminate on the way there because you don't want to like do something worse.
I mean, damn, I don't want to get right into the meat potatoes, but I guess we can because listen, at the end of the day, what are you going to put your snakes in to make sure nothing gets cross-contaminated? I mean, obviously you're going to probably put it in your car, right? Like it would be in or something, or like where would you want to put these animals? Like I'm curious.
Yeah, it has to be temperature controlled and has to be small enough containers that you could carry it into the hotel each night because it's 30 hours from here. So it might have to be multiple trips. We might have to ship some stuff just to keep things isolated. Mm-hmm. You know, the colubrids are not a high risk to either other category animal, in my opinion. So they could actually sort of be in the same cohort in one vehicle, but the boas and the ball pythons are high risk to each other and they deserve to not be cross-contaminated. So we'll do the best to keep those the most isolated.
I was thinking this too. Shout out to Shane. I mean, I much as it would probably be brutal, I would just fucking
30 hours. Holy, no, Shane, you're wrong. I can't do it. Maybe my husband can because he like, I don't know, flies the airplane for 24 hours in a row. But
what if you went as long as you could, and then he went as long as he could, and then you wake up and just finish the rest? Like, what if that might be a possibility? Because I mean, but you also have kids, right? You have children, don't you?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it's going to be in multiple trips, and some people like will buy those temperature controlled vans that you can set the AC unit on it to like 78, which would be fine, right? They're really expensive, so
Right.
moving a couple hundred snakes across the country is no easy feat, turns out. I'm an idiot. Always. Every
Yeah.
time.
This is like you're not the only person that this happens to. This is like what life happened. Like you understand, some people may even look at this feat as like, or not even a feat. I'm sorry, look at this challenge as like fucking like maybe I should just sell my collection. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think. I mean, it depends how bad you want it. You know what I'm saying? And obviously, you worked. We haven't even got into the foundation of your collection yet. But I mean, what you've built from what I've seen already isn't something. You're definitely not gonna throw the talent. So we got to figure this out. We got to make it happen.
Yeah, and we can do it. We have, if it takes multiple trips, whatever, what have you, we'll just figure it out. It's my husband talked to me about it, and he's like, "Listen, woman, do you really want to move all these fucking snakes?" And I'm like, "Yes." So we're all in. Fuck, we sold our soul to the devil. Here we are.
All right, listen, let's kind of tap into what you have going on with the collection. But before we do all that, like, how did Hare Hollow Farms even come about? Like, let's talk about the birth of all that and what led to that and whatnot.
So I guess like the story of why this exists goes all the way back to like 2000 or 1999. I was given a pet snake as like a 12-year-old in 1998, and it was a common boa imperator, and it was like my pet for a while as a little kid. And then I was like, oh, the internet exists, and you get on King Snake and you get a little crazy. And so it became a thing for me. So I had a collection of boas that I was building up as a teenager and into a young adult. I wanted to be a breeder. I wanted to be like Pete Call or Ralph Davis. And I had different kinds of species, but I was mostly interested in boas because boas were like the premium snake at the time, because ball pythons were still too new. So they were just too expensive, or they were shit and from Africa. Mm-hmm. So, but that collection ended in a colony collapse situation, and I had to euthanize the balance at the end of that, which we can get into that if you want. I don't know if it's that fun. And so I left the hobby like extremely disappointed and upset and hurt. And I went to college, had a couple of colubrids, but they weren't super exciting. Got my master's in herpetology. Then I left that, and I was like, I'm going to go work and trick a man into marrying me with my feminine wiles. And I did successfully. It worked out.
Got him.
And then I was like, I've always been interested in animals in general. I like sustainable agriculture and farming. So I was like, when we move somewhere, we're going to buy land and we're going to set it up, and we're going to have multiple classes of animals, but I want to try snakes again, but I want to do it correctly this time. So that was how it all came to be.
Let's go back to what it was that you had to go through that made you, unfortunately had to leave what you had started and, before college.
So we didn't know what arenavirus was in 2000's time. It wasn't discovered until 2012. So we just knew that inclusion body disease was a thing that boas got and could give to other kinds of snakes. And you could do a blood smear and look for inclusion bodies. You could do a liver biopsy and look for inclusion bodies. And that might mean that the reason they're neuro is because of that, but it could also mean they have inclusion bodies from some other virus. So you just were guessing. We've been guessing for 30 years. So at that time, they were just like, if you quarantine from 6 months to a year and you don't see anybody doing anything neuro, they're probably fine, right? They were just guessing. Well, we guessed wrong. It was wrong. They weren't fine. A year quarantine is not enough. So I had a lot of animals that were fine on intake, and then they weren't fine. And it was incepted by moving the collection to a new house when I was like renting. I like moved out of my parents' shack and then moved into my own place. That sort of incepted a colony collapse event. And not everybody died. They didn't all die at once, but a lot of them started to die. And then I was like, my collection is closed and I can't sell or breed or give them away. So I kept the like residual collection for 2 or 3 years. And then at the end, I was like, I have 10 adults. They were my favorites. They looked fine, but they could not be fine too. And there was no testing then. So I had to euthanize everyone instead of continue with like Schrodinger's collection, where you don't know if they're fine or not. So it's always been really important to me coming back to be like, what's the best evidence we have that they're actually fine? And that's a test, it turns out. PCR test.
Wow. And then, and how did you get things tested back then? Did you take it to a vet, or what did you have to do?
There was no testing then. So we didn't even know it existed until 2012. So this was in 2008 when I killed the last of my pets, basically. I just put them all, I piffed them all and then buried them in the backyard. And this is like 8 to 10 foot boas or whatever.
Oh
All my pets, my like childhood pet, that was the one I got in 1998, was still alive. But I couldn't keep him because I didn't know what his status was, because you didn't even know what the causative agent of IBD was at that time. You just had to euthanize. Suck big ass. Ugh.
Dude, I'm sorry, man. That's I mean, fuck, I can't imagine. I mean, I wasn't too deep into reptiles as a kid. I just was always around them. And I remember when mom and dad split up and I had to move, like the person watching my snake, and I remember ended up hearing that it died. And just hearing, like, because it was my childhood pet. Like I remember getting that fucking snake at 6 years old, and my dad walking down, like literally after my mom had convinced me that I was not getting a snake for Christmas, like completely convinced me. And like, I cried, I was like, I'm not getting a snake. And like, literally, I'll never forget that Christmas. The best Christmas of my life was watching my dad walk down the stairs with the tank. And I had that ball python all the way from I was 6 to 14 years old. And then I was literally like, I had nightmares. Like I couldn't stop thinking of that snake, in just at that age, as a pet, you know what I mean? Because how much I was obsessed with it. So
yeah, I used to have like weird anxiety dreams about people like breaking into my snake building as like a teen and like hurting my snakes or stealing them or eating them or like letting them all loose. And so you can't figure out where they all went. So it was very much a part of who I was as a person. And then to lose it completely and then have to choose to like finish it off, it's not healthy or good. Yeah. So when I went to school, I did field herpetology. I did like field wood turtle work, and then my master's was in wood turtles again. And I was like, people shouldn't keep snakes as pets because we obviously can't take care of them very well.
Right.
Turns out we can if we just try.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I won't get into it too deeply, but as a whole, humans don't deserve pets. It's unfortunate, but
yeah, I mean, people are trying, and that's good.
I think because of how big this industry is now growing due to social media and influencers, you got people who like snakes just because they saw somebody they like on YouTube or something, which is, I feel it's a good part, you know what I'm saying? But the extremists, like the other thing of like having people be scared and just doing like outlandish shit with them is like that's the good and bad of YouTube, which we won't get into that shit either because that's just fucking
yeah. And there was definitely a time when I was like a kid where it was just a pet to me. It wasn't like part of my personality yet. So like you need to give people just a pet first to like get them to join the hobby the rest of the way.
Well, make sure you love it. It's something you should love. Like, and this is, as much as this is an investment and it can be investment, you better love this shit first. Like, I don't understand how anyone, like, I understand situations happen, but goddamn, you got to kill me personally for me to get rid of all this shit. Like, I'm so invested in this. And I remember a couple of years back, me and my wife, I think before, how before you get married, there's like a lot of fights. Like we got in a lot of fights before we got married. Like leading up to the wedding, there was like a lot of like, I don't know if she had doubt, but she was like, you gotta understand, like I had just got my first clutch and I'm telling her like, I'm telling her how I'm like, dude, I'm about to make bank. And she's like, I haven't seen you make no money in like 3 years. And I was like, nah, fuck that. We're going to make bank. And like, trust me, it got hairy, but then, once things started rolling, it just happened. But I could tell you, right, Jessica, I was really just so appreciative of the animals I was getting. Like, and I don't know, the one thing why I'm so passionate to keep this podcast going to the point where it outdoes the financial side of things with the snakes is because I want to just keep the pet mentality with this in a sense. Right. Even this room, like, I had some shit luck with the chondros, but I'm not like looking in here thinking like, fuck, I should sell my chondros. Not fuck that. I'll always have chondros. I don't care how much I suck at breeding chondros. I will always have chondros because it is therapeutic for me just to look at them. But I'm saying if you have that kind of feeling too, then you're meant to be with these animals, Yeah,
and I think people are animal people are not animal people, and sort of the people that are like the most fucked up and to like resonate with reptiles for some reason. I don't know if we're all messed up in the head or what, but it's like whatever.
That's why I do love this hobby, is because how many fucked up people.
Yeah, that's what makes it fun. We're all weirdos.
I mean, I'm like, dude, I'm still fucked up. You're like, but I've come a long ways, you know. But trust me, I'm still fucked up, but I openly admit it, and I know other people out there who I relate to like that. You know what I'm saying? And because all we have is, it's not all we have. I got my wife, but like what I have to like keep my shit together is the animals and the podcast. Right. All this is my life. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, as I get older, I figured out what makes you feel good, you protect, and this all makes me feel good. You know, my wife, all that, so I protect it. So. I don't know. Like, I love how you say that, you know, you will never forget how these were to us as just a pet, you know, and I feel like we should never forget that, you know, no matter how much money we make and how big the business goes, remember that the love started as a pet, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, yeah. And we can't shit on like pet keepers because they do whatever they're going to do with their pet. As long as it's taken care of and healthy, whatever weird... Like, I don't do that, but like, it's okay if people do that because I'd rather have someone perceive their pet as cute and cuddly or something stupid than like go get the shovel every time they see a snake. Well, you know what I mean?
Go get the shovel because we're about to talk some shit. You ready to hear some shit right now? Because it's going down.
All right, go.
Here we are in the era, right? We're in a new era where these fucking scumbag big breeders, you know, and I'm not. This is just as generality. I'm not talking about breeders who are well-known piece of shit people who sell sick animals and animals to people that what they're not are, and just really bad named people. But a lot of these people tend to do these to breeders, people who don't want to make a fuss of it, people who don't want to make drama. There's people who just want to breed and just do their thing. And if you fuck them over, they'll just remember it and just keep going, right? But then you have these pet people, you know, and you have these, you know, these pet tubers and people who are like we said, therapeutic for them. They fucking really love their animals. Like this is their children, you know, and they do a good job representing them on their platforms. Those are the people you don't want to piss off. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Because
those are the ones who aren't making money off the snakes. I mean, they're the ones not relying on breeding. That's not what they look at. They're not looking at them as a production. This is literally a lifesaver for them. They enjoy it. So when you go from fucking over people who are making money off snakes to somebody who's only investing in it as a pet, oh man, and it's an adult, you know what I'm saying? It's not a kid. It's somebody who is really just about their stuff. I think that's where things are going to change, you know? A lot of these people have big platforms.
They were trained by or whatever because they thought they were getting a nice, fun pet. And then it's like, I mean, breeders know that shit goes south even without disease or whatever, right? So we're used to like a certain amount of, you know, casualty.
You expect it.
Part of, yeah. And so they'll like roll over and take it. But a pet person like expected.
That person's not going to expect it. And when they do get hit with it, you have to be fragile with them. You know what I mean? Like we're you know, like us as pet breeders and veterans, as far as dealing with death and stuff like that, we understand that this person who doesn't see dead snakes and doesn't like see stuff that goes south. So like, you know, just a little bit of sympathy, and just even if the person's being extra, or even if the person's like, you know, like, holy shit, like you gotta understand, like look at
an apology goes a long way. Even if you didn't do anything wrong in your opinion, just be like, I'm sorry you feel this way. Let me know how I can help. Whatever.
Ownership doesn't hurt, because I've talked to a lot of breeders who have been in situations where, you know, an animal gets sent to somebody and there's an issue. A lot of breeders say, send that thing right back. I will take that snake right back. Or if it's not really like let's say if it's an identity issue, like, hey, this isn't the snake I paid for. I mean, that's happened to me. The breeder refunded me and said, keep the snake. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, why would you like?
That changed my life. Like, dude, that guy's awesome. You know what I mean?
Know. No, I got a missex snake last year, and she offered a replacement for the cost of shipping that was worth, you know, more than, and she was like, ship it back if you want, or keep it, I don't care. And I was like, listen, no, I'll buy a couple $1,000 extra from you just to make it worth your time to ship the replacement. So like one good act would get you a customer that would keep buying from you. So why not at least try? And I know some buyers are dicks, but what are you gonna do?
But here's the thing, like, I'm a dick. You know what I'm saying? I'm somebody who came from like, fuck you, I don't care, you know, like, I'm about me first. But came into this hobby, I had so many people hook me up, you know, like Miguel and like, you know, Barcheck, just a bunch of like big name people who I don't know why they gave me the time of day, but they did it to where it inspired the living shit out of me, to where like, you know, my trappers, like, I love, like, dude, I want to give you guys that kind of feeling now. You know what I'm saying? And it's addicting, you know, like just hooking other people up with just a simple attention or like, help. But more importantly, like, I feel like, I mean, if you're going to sell something, own it as a business. It's a fucking business, okay? And no matter how big your name is and no matter how fucked up the situation is, and I used to hate this saying, but this saying is right. You can go fuck yourself. The customer is always right. And what I mean by that, if the customer's upset, then fucking own that they're upset. Figure out how to fix it. Just fix it. Don't avoid it, because you're going to avoid it on the wrong person who will take it to a level that you're not ready for.
I know, we've learned that.
Hello.
For sure. Yeah.
I bet you a lot of big breeders fucking, now that this type of thing is happening with exposure and like not letting people just run all over them. Oh man, people are paying attention now. I can tell you that much. They're probably like, oh shit, we better clean our act up. And it's good.
I mean, this is good. It can only be better for the animals. Like if people are trying to sell better animals and trying to take care of their animals better, it's always still in the best interest of the animals to be cared for better. So happy customer, happy animal seems like a great way to make money. And
I think it was Keith McPete that I just had on, who like basically said back in the day, you would expect getting stuff in like pretty much almost dead, you know what I mean, or just like it was so random, but like you got what you got. There was no options or like I want this one. This one has a paradox, like it just was so different back then. So that's why, a lot of these OG breeders, as we speak of, like the ones who are still putting money into this, if you fuck them over, they're just not, I mean, they have their way of doing things, I feel like, but like I said, you fuck over somebody who's literally making a life off their pet because they enjoy being around it. Like that's somebody where, like you said, that's kind of like me messing with my dog. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Dog, like Capone, like this is kind of like the same thing in a sense. I'm psycho about my dog, bro. Dude, I had this one lady one time. Like, you want to hear a story? You want to hear how like I became like a fucking, I don't want to say Karen, but I went in on this lady because I came to a dog park. And I let my dogs go. My dogs don't attack. Like sometimes Capone gets rowdy, but he never's attacked anyone. So I let my dogs go. And this lady, like, I don't want to, I'm not trying to judge, but she had like butched ass lady. Let's just say that, okay? Little lady for bitch. And she's yelling, pit bull, like yelling around the whole park that there's pit bulls. And I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, grab your dogs. There's pit bulls. And I'm like, she's hitting me right now.
Oh my God.
Got so defensive. I was like, you gotta be like, what is your problem? And she's like grabbing her dogs and like, dude, and then like everyone's kind of looking at her like, what the fuck's your problem, lady? And like, either way, don't fuck with people's pets. That's all I gotta say. Don't fuck with my dogs ever. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, I want to talk about back to you having to go through an experience like we just talked about prior to college. When you went into getting back into things, what was your like, now since you had that experience and you were going into buying animals again after you got married with your husband, what was your like approach to buying snakes? Like how did you handle things now?
So first I had to like figure out what the testing options were, which was a little hard. It's like the Facebook groups were still kind of functional in 2019. They're less functional now. But you just ask around and you get like the word on the street about who's doing testing. And then people will also whisper in your ear, they're like, oh, it doesn't work, or too many false positives, false negatives, blah, blah, blah. Or it doesn't detect anything. Like it only returns negatives. And you're like, fuck, you guys suck. And then you just tell them to eat shit and die. And you just start buying snakes and you start testing. And initially I was stealth testing. So I would not tell the seller I was going to test on intake. And I did not expect a refund. And that was pretty okay. Most snakes are fine, right? Most, and they are legitimately fine. They're negative. But then you start getting a positive or two and you're like, do I want to eat the money every time? Because I'm going to euthanize it personally for my situation.
Right.
And now I go through the tooth pulling procedure of asking people every time before I buy, like, hey, I love this snake. You look like you have a great collection. I have no reason to think it's positive, but would you mind? I'll pay full price cash, no payment plan bullshit, or for $20 a week. You know what I mean? Like, I have money, just send it to me. I'll test it. If it's positive, I'll turn it right back. Maybe 50% of people don't even reply to my Morph Market inquiries. And the other ones are like, fuck off.
Let me help you with this, though. I mean, I feel like they need to kind of give you a chance more, and I feel like you shouldn't bring that up until like the very I'm talking
the very
about
last minute. You've already sent them money.
No. Well, this is what you should do, because I mean, yeah, even send them money, because this is what you can do. You can say, listen, I was in a situation where blah 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 blah, and I am so like careful what comes in, what comes out. I'm willing to pay for the test. Do you mind getting the test? You know, and you know, if he doesn't want to test after you're willing to pay and all that, and he doesn't want to learn that process, do you want that snake anyways? Like, okay, you don't.
No, right? No, they go on the like fuck off list. Yeah, like lots of great people with great collections that don't test have agreed to let me test and have negative animals. So like, there's nothing about like if you don't test, you don't magically have like a ruined collection or something. It's not that pervasive for all the diseases that we're talking about. It's just like, if you're starting off clean with 0 snakes, why wouldn't you want to test on intake? Because you'll just guarantee with relatively high certainty that you'll be moving in the right direction instead of introducing something you don't want.
And this definitely going to happen overnight, but I can promise you right now, having a test apart with your new snake, that will become a part of the regular. I feel like, because as much as the bigger guys probably are too deep into like doing all that, which is probably what it is, you know, there's guys that have thousands of snakes and they're just like, how the fuck am I going to test? Like, what do I, you know what I mean? And they don't want to bother with it. I'm not saying they have Nido in their collection or any kind of, I'm just saying like some of them are like, you know, and they're, you know, and they just rather not. And, you know, I feel like, you know, if somebody, a lot of new people who are coming in are going to hear about, you know, requesting the test, you know, and that probably being more of a thing. I've even talked to other breeders who are going to start having Nido tests already a part of their receipts or shit like that. Like there's already people already starting to get on top of that. Will Morris is one of them. You know, Mark Mandick. So it's like, I don't know, like I feel like I said, it's not going to be an overnight thing, but what a smart thing to do just to save your ass. Like just to have something to be like, listen, you know, it didn't come from me. Okay. And that's a fact. And I don't know. And I feel like even if I was going to ask you this, okay, because, you know, situational things all matter, right? All I know is, Jessica, if I were to get a snake in, like, let's say I bought a snake from you, okay, and the snake had some sort of a symptom, something not I'm not used to seeing, like, let's just say some sort of like mucus or whatever the fuck, some bubbles, whatever, something from the mouth, and I let you know about it, right? Regardless of what the deal was, shouldn't me as the owner of the pet immediately test it right then and there? Or I mean, what should be done in a situation like that? Like as soon as you get a snake in, within the first week, you see a symptom. Would you test it yourself if there's never been a test, or what would be something?
Yeah, I mean, my policy is to test everything now. So I'll sit in the FedEx parking lot after picking them up and swab them all there, and I'll videotape it if they want it, or do whatever, just to be like, it just came out of the box. I do not have Nido, so I cannot. You know, you can see the gloves and everything else. So like, it's perfectly logical for them to assume that it came from them. But if someone waited a little bit long and saw some symptoms, swab quickly and get your results quickly. And then be like, hey, we didn't talk about this in advance, but I saw it was looking a little drippy. Checked it. It's got Nido. It's been in my quarantine by itself for a week. And you still have a chance. The more time passes, the less liability the seller has. There's some diseases, like a crypto infection cannot be detected very well with, you know, gastric washes and stuff. So you would really want feces for that. So you need to wait long enough to have them in, have them settle, eat, and then get a stool. So that's a different situation. You can't, you know, fish a poo out of their butthole in the parking lot. So you have to like talk to your seller in advance about what you would like. And if they're not comfortable with that, you just got to go somewhere else. And I think we're doing better. I have less of a negative rate. It used to be like 70-30 for ball python purchases, but it's getting better. 50-50.
So wait, hold on. You're saying 30% of the ball pythons you're buying are coming positive?
No, the sellers would refuse to sell to me. 70%. Okay. I was like, yeah, my ball python intake rate right now is 100% negative because no one has sent me something bad yet. So that's great news. My Boas one is different though.
When was the last time you added a ball python to your collection?
think it was last November. I got a stranger and some het clown stuff, and then like a Mojo spot nose adult breeder from Deb at Northern Regis, and she is like an old school tester, and she let me test, and I tested on a live on Instagram, and they were all negative and beautiful.
Beautiful, awesome.
Love them.
So with that being said, since the test came back negative, what was your quarantine process with them?
So you have to sort of weigh the risk of the particular animal that you're looking at. So a baby ball python, when determining its risk for Nido, is probably pretty low if it wasn't cross-contaminated. If the former keepers were keeping it isolated from adults. There's no vertical transmission with Nido virus. So the only way they're going to get it if somebody either uses a fomite or physically touches the animals and transfers it that way. So they're relatively safe. So a baby, you could do one test on intake, 90-day quarantine. If you don't see anything suspect, they go into like a baby cohort for me. So they're still not in the same room as adults, but they're sort of all a bunch of babies together that are sort of externally produced. And then adults, it's a little more like they've had more exposure, they've bred more. So you could maybe do one on intake, one on outtake. If your adult's going to go into like let's say you buy them in January and you know you're not going to breed the sub-adult until the next November, you could maybe do one on intake and one before breeding. It's really up to your tolerance and what you think the risk level is with that animal. If it's been like fucking rolling around on Craigslist for the last 6 years, going from collection to collection, that thing's a train wreck. You might need to test it a lot more and do a little bit more due diligence on it.
That's a fucking time bomb right there.
Yeah.
I will say this, because of recent events, Nido's been a huge conversation with a lot of recent people I've been talking to, and I'm curious about this, okay? Because this I do want to know, and I hope there's anyone out there who could maybe step up and say something about this. I was gonna have, we did have somebody who were gonna tap in with us, but she got called with an emergency call at her work, and she's like the head vet at Disney World. So shout out to Pia, but Pia can't be here tonight, unfortunately. She was gonna chime in on this because I really want to ask her this question, which I will, because I will give her own episode at some point. But has there been anyone out there to send more than, like, let's just say 25 to 30 ball python Nido collection like tests, like, without getting at least one positive back? Like, I'm trying to figure out a ratio at this point on what's the most positive tests, or excuse me, negative tests somebody's had with the amount of tests they sent without getting one positive back, is what I want to figure out.
At like the same time or over time?
Yeah, like let's just say like anyone could send like 5 in, right? Or like let's say even 10, right? But like, who has sent in, like, let's just say 40 at a time, and gotten 40 clean back? You know what I mean? And
yeah, it's hard because like the numbers that Fishhead and RAL release for positive rates is 20 to 40% or maybe 25, but then there's like a selection bias there because those are people who maybe are seeing symptoms and testing more preferentially in their collection. Right. So what the real background rate is for the whole population of ball pythons, we'll never know until we actually do like a randomized survey somehow. But most people would never consent to that. And also, Fishhead and RAL have like, a confidentiality agreement. They would never
speak on it.
Yeah, Fishhead can anonymize it and will use it for papers. But to me, it seems like from anecdotal evidence that if someone's got it bad in their collection, like more than like the background rate of 20% or something, then they've just been like really fucking up bad, like refeeding feeders, using tongs and snake bites tongs, and they keep going, and they're just really trying hard to fuck up. So it's not so infectious because they don't cough or sneeze and it's not airborne that it's like it flies into your room and then it's a crisis. It's a slow burn. Nido in ball pythons, it seems, but you will have morbidity and you will have death. The rate that happens, though, we don't actually officially know based on the literature. So it's about like mitigating risk, not about solving all problems.
And then also big head scratcher here, and it's kind of like, holy shit, like my heart drops when I hear this, are breeders who actually have breeder males who commonly go through RI symptoms each year. Like it's something that it's like a part of their Like, yeah, they expect
seasonal rest.
and like that. I mean, that shouldn't happen, right? I mean, that shouldn't. I mean, that I understand things happen during the process. Like, I have females that act funky while they're, like I have a retic that went through all sorts of different motions when she was gravid. But I mean, all right, happening every winter or having, I don't know. I feel like that's especially if you haven't tested either. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I would be suspicious of those animals. I mean, if snakes are under chronic stress from breeding, like some of the commensal bacteria can start to win, but you wouldn't know the answer to which one of those it is unless you test. And if you don't test, then that snake is frankly a liability. So why wouldn't you want to like double check, since he's breeding 4 to 8 females every year, just spreading it around? Yeah, it doesn't cost that much. It's not hard. It doesn't hurt the snakes. So it's a no-brainer to me that would be a good thing to at least exclude. Like, if there's something else going on, maybe you want to work on that.
What would
The
be
seasonality of symptoms is very interesting in general, because we saw in that Burmese python paper, the wild Burmese pythons were not testing positive in the summer, but they were in the winter.
Mm-hmm.
So it was unclear if they were clearing the virus or if they were just undetectable. It's probably what's happening in our captive populations as well, but we'd have to have more people do more longitudinal research. And Pia's paper that she has, they're very consistent, her green tree pythons that are positive. They almost always are still positive each month, or there's 2-month intervals as they're tested, but they'll fall off every once in a while and throw a negative. And that's where like you get the false negative rate, but it's still not that common. People are so fixated on like, what if it's wrong? Well, what if you don't test? Like, who cares if there's like a small percentage of time where they'll fall below the detection threshold? You're just throwing all that out, all this knowledge, to just guess that they're okay.
Well, my boy Socrates, shouts to my boy Sock, my best friend. Fucking love that guy. But I usually tell him everything that goes down. Before I actually take it public. He's the guy who knows everything that's happening. Worst disaster, I'll tell him, right? And my first experience with the ball python breeder getting RI, I was confused. I was like, why the fuck does this snake have RI? It was a breeder loan for my boy Jacob. Shout out to Jacob, letter better. But he gave me this snake when it was smashing food. It looked fucking perfect shape. I kind of put him through the ringer. I put him through 4 girls, and he went off food, and I kept breeding him. And then eventually I kind of saw him like a little slowing down. I was like, oh, you don't really look right. I was like, but his body, I was weighing him. He wasn't losing weight or anything, but I could just see something in his spunk. So I put him away, and I noticed he still wasn't eating. And then we had like one crazy cold front. And then the next morning I saw he had all this drool in his mouth. And I was like, what? What the fuck is this? And so I was just talking to Sock, and, understand Sock's first experience with Nido was with the ball python. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then he got into chondros and had that experience. And so basically I told him about the RI, and he's like, bro, your snake has Nido. That was the first thing he said. And I was like, bro, don't fucking tell me that. I was like, you can't just resort to Nido. He's like,
right. Did you test him?
I did immediately. Oh, fuck yeah. So I tested him immediately, and that was like the worst fucking 24 hours of my life. Right. Whatever. But and I remember talking to Miguel. I was talking to all these people. Like, I was like, bro, I think I think I have a snake that's Nido. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like super DL. I tested it twice. I do need a third test. I will tell you that, but I've had 2 clean tests. But I'm trying to say that, necessary RI symptoms don't mean it does have Nido either.
Oh yeah, no. Yeah, mycoplasma sucks too. Like sucks ass for pythons. And that's treatable. So and besides like a normal sort of commensal bacteria overreacting, what I like to like hone in on is like people are like, Nido's the big thing now, so it's like the scary thing. And then we've all forgotten about arenavirus. I'm like, I haven't fucking forgotten about arenavirus, so what the fuck are you talking about? It's about like the whole management collection. What are the diseases of concerns for the species you have? Are you cross-contaminating? How's your biosecurity doing? And how are you using testing to manage it? It's not about bullying people that have positives or want to keep a positive room. It's not about, thinking that testers are like hysterical Karens that are on their periods constantly screaming about stuff. I mean, we are. But besides that part, it's more of like a balance. Like, I think of my animals as a farm. I'm growing animals and making more to sell them. I'm not I as a farmer of goats and chickens and horses, I test all those for their diseases too. It's not that weird. I do it yearly. I'll do prophylactic worming. And I want to treat the snakes the same way.
So you're saying I should be testing my alpacas, huh?
Yeah, they're probably full of Nido.
For reals?
No, I'm kidding. No, I was kidding. I was being a bitch.
Oh, dude, that's not cool. But for reals, I'm being like they can.
Yeah. I used to draw blood for my goats every year, even though they had no exposure.
Tia would fucking headbutt me if I drew blood from her. I could never do that. Oh God.
I mean, if she's a pet and you're like, this is a pet. If a deer comes along and drops a turd that has an infectious disease on it, and she gets it and she rolls, it's fine, whatever. But like, if you're interested in the production of animals, let's use some animal science to make the production better and their lives better. That's all I advocate for. And it always, people are like, you're asking for too much. $25 is too expensive. I'm like, okay, your $10,000 snake doesn't deserve a $2,500 test. Great.
Right.
Great hobby.
I for sure feel like Tia and Tamara deserves a test, just so I could not be full of shit. I'm gonna have Trap Fest, and I'm gonna have to tell these people, sorry, my alpacas are not tested.
Right. Put a condom on them.
Okay. Before I want to take a break on the snake talk because
all right,
I was on a crazy farm tip, man. Like I had chickens, I had eggs coming all the time, and I really thought I was something I really wasn't, but I wanted to be a farmer. You know what I mean? Like I wanted to get birds and shit like that, but then I found out when the landlord hit me with the fucking 60-day, I was like, oh great, like all this needs to stop. You know what I mean?
Right.
But my love is like I want to have a farm life, man. Like obviously happy medium. I don't want to overdo it because I know my aunt has horses and shit like that, and I see the backbreaking shit that she goes through. And like, she's God bless her, but I want that fucking farm life, man. And I'm just curious about your day to day. I want to talk about how you wake up. Like, what's the first thing you do? What
man,
do you
it sucks though. I sold everything because I'm moving. Remember?
Let's talk about before. Let's talk about when you were at the peak of the farm. Like,
okay,
when it was popping, like the most poppin'est time. What was your schedule like? I'm curious.
So I had registered Nubian dairy goats. So my business owned the dairy goats and all the other animals and all the products that they sold. So I had to milk them twice a day. And it was mostly for personal consumption. And I was going to use the milk to raise bottle calves for eating.
Is goat milk good? I never had goat milk.
It is the best. It has to be fresh though, because capronic acid like forms with contact to oxygen. So you got to get it right when it cools down after being milked.
Where would you put it between like 2% and almond milk? Like where is it like really different?
What did you just say to me? Those are both gross. Get out of here.
What do you mean? I love chocolate. Those go perfect with it. What do you mean? You're telling me chocolate goes better with fresh goat milk? Is that what you're telling me?
So Nubian dairy goats produce more milk fat than like a Holstein cow does. So it's usually like 5 to 6, 7%. It's like eating like cream. And
oh my God.
And it doesn't separate like cow's milk do because they have like a different size protein. And so you can make like these like really legit, yogurts or whatever where the fat doesn't pool at the top. It's sort of evenly homogenized. And people like are traumatized by the capronic acids smell, taste, but you get used to it. It takes a while for it to happen.
I love goat cheese, so this makes sense. Hello, if I love goat cheese, I'm gonna love goat milk. I'm an idiot.
Yeah, and the goaty taste doesn't happen for a while. So for 2 or 3 days, it tastes like cow's milk, but with higher butterfat percentage. It is a delight.
So literally, farming, making a business out of it is what you're waking up to do. And then how long would it take you to milk? All together. What was the milking process?
So I hand milked because it doesn't take that long. My best producing doe did like 3/4 of a gallon to a gallon in the morning and then at the night. So you would do 3 does. It might take 45 minutes to milk, but like 15 minutes to clean, sanitize, and then 15 minutes to sanitize when you're done. And then it's more about like the processing the milk. Like you got to go make cheese and you have to, and I mostly made paneer. I don't know if you know what that cheese is. It's like a cottage cheese type made with acid, but then you sort of form it and then put it in curries and stuff. It's a delight. delicious.
God
So I
damn.
was mostly like interested in like a whole system farm. Like the snakes are what actually makes money because their margins are much better. But the goats feed me, and I could feed the rats extra cheese that I'm raising for the snakes. The
Right.
chickens and the ducks, you could sell the eggs, but I could also feed those to the snakes. So everything served the snakes because they were the margin animals. Yes. And then I could eat all of the animals. I guess I never ate snakes, but you know what I mean? Like, the extra bucks you produce from your does, you can eat. But if you
Right.
have too much cheese, you give that to the rats go to the snakes. It's like and then like you compost your bedding. And if you compost it hot enough, it kills any viruses or bacteria that aren't native to your environment. It's about like recontextualizing herpetoculture in the context of agriculture, which is what it is. We've just sort of weirdly detached it. Is that weird? That's why it's a farm.
No, I mean, I get it. You're really about it. I mean, anyone could name that. I mean, it could have just been a crafty name, you know what I mean? But you're really about it, which is sick.
Yeah, I think I'm just like interested in sustainable agriculture for human beings. So like, how do you make snakes sustainable as like a hobby for the next 60 years? I don't know. Like, if you didn't have like commercially produced grain, you wouldn't be able to feed the rats to feed the snakes. So how do we reincept the process to have something be maybe even healthier? Like, rabbits are eating lower down on the trophic level than a rat is. So they're eating stuff that's mostly grass. So it's less production cost than making the grain to go into the rat food. So a rabbit would be a better animal technically from like an ecological perspective, but rabbits are really big. So then you're like, what do we do instead? Guinea pigs and feed guinea pig kits? I don't know. And I still have rats and mice, but feeding stuff that only eats seeds or primarily eats seeds gives us a prey item that's super high omega-6. And we're probably killing our snakes doing that. So I always like to balance it out with other prey types, even for ball pythons.
Damn. So you're trying to be like Dylan and give your ball python chicks and shit.
Yeah, I do. And they will go back just fine.
Ooh,
They're fine.
I'm down to implement that. Yo, relax. I want in on this. I want to start feeding my ball python chicks.
They don't all like it because they weren't habituated to it. But if you keep them going on it, you can.
Well, check this out. Dude, Jess, I had a couple little fucking stubborn super dwarfer tick eaters, right? And I'm not going to say any names, but I talked to other SD breeders and they're like on their Ryan Young tip with it. If they don't eat, they don't eat. They don't assist. They don't believe in assist feeding and doing all that because they don't want to pass weak genes down and all that. And that's how they do their thing, right? But I come from a place, not from a place, but I breed shit that needs multiple options. If it doesn't take that, try this, and that. So what I immediately thought with these couple or three or SD ticks that weren't eating, I offered them day one quail. And they fucking murdered that shit.
Yeah.
All right, cool. And basically, what I did the second time around, I thought out a small mouse with the quail, like basically on top of each other. And then what did it do? It took the fucking mouse. Boom. So
there's nothing wrong with like. I can understand like not keeping around a failure to thrive. Sometimes you gotta feed them to the king snake or whatever.
Justin, can I time out this real quick?
Yeah.
Hold on. No, I feel like we're being hella disrespected right now. I know we have more than 38 likes and we're an hour in. We had up to 70 people watching. If you're not getting the likes up for my girl Jessica, you're sexist. You don't want girl power. You don't want girl power. So I hope that's not you. You know what I'm saying? Can we get the likes up, please? Especially if you're a female. This is for the women. Let's go. Get the likes up for Jessica. We're killing it. Sorry, I had to do that, Jessica. I don't like low likes.
Thank you.
Continue.
No, yeah, like the hobby, I can understand like the commercialization where you want a very standardized prey item for your animals, but that is probably not to the best benefit of any animal. Most of them probably eat some sort of variety of prey, and the way we feed our rats makes them a very certain nutrient profile. It's probably not that great. So, I have to start colubrids and all kinds of scented weird stuff. My Japanese rat snakes do not want a plain pinky ever. They want to eat birds too. So they have to have scented with bird also. But here we are.
So, I mean, with that being said, what's your approach with? I mean, because you've bred boas, right?
Mm-hmm.
You bred colubrids, like corn snakes, and what other colubrids? Like, what all colubrids have you bred?
I read the Japanese rat snake, Salafe chlamycophora. Slowinski's rat snakes was the first time this year. I don't know why I can't remember what I'm breeding. Oh, I read Western Hognoses this year also, and I have some other stuff, but they're all younger.
Okay. And how many of those projects are sustaining like a financial gain for you? Like, are any of those kind of like seasonal and you it's a repeat thing, or some of these new?
The corn snakes are the most sort of continuing project. I still struggle with corn snakes because the margins are still fine, but the labor of selling them is not worth the effort of how much they cost. So like I need to work on, increasing the corn snake game a little bit. They're very easy to take care of, clearly, and they make 1 trillion babies and they double clutch, and then they're relatively easy to sell. It's just like, what's the cost benefit analysis if it's only $150? So I'm very interested in like figuring, like corn snakes is probably like the best platform for somebody who wants to get into morphs and wants to get into selective breeding, but doesn't want it to cost a lot for the setup and doesn't want to spend a lot of money on the initial animals, because you can do a lot of shit really quick and it's awesome.
From your knowledge, go ahead, continue.
No, that's all right.
From your knowledge, breeding colubrids, when it comes to temps and all that, is it all roughly the same, or does it all vary?
God, it really depends on if you're talking about like North American colubrids versus
Boegas.
Yeah, or tropical stuff, rain rat snakes,
Tropical shit.
the cooler stuff. All of it is sort of still reliant on some sort of seasonality. But I like putting the colubrids down, the North American colubrids that are cold, because you're like, bye, I'll see you guys later. I'll check your water in 2 weeks. So it's like a little bit of a break. It gives me like a seasonality to my year. And, when colubrids are going down, I have like the mega shit ton of ball pythons. Right. And then by the end of like the ball python selling season, like over the winter, most of your last year's production's gone. Then you have 1 trillion. Your older colubrids are back up and you have 1 trillion colubrid babies again. So right now I'm like drowning in baby corn snakes, but I don't have any baby ball pythons yet. So the seasonality is something I like.
Do you have things separated? Like, do you have a colubrid room and then your ball python room, or is everything in the same room?
So I have a building and it has 4 or 5 rooms in it. And so I have a ball python adult room, a boa adult room. The colubrid babies that are young of the year share the space with the colubrid or the ball python babies, because they're both born from an egg, and crypto isn't vertically transmitted either. And then separately, the boas are in their own racks by litter. And because arenavirus is vertically transmitted, I don't like to cross-contaminate between litters or have them anywhere near their adults. And I think this is all separate from a quarantine, which is in the house. So that's probably a privileged position that I'm in right now. So I don't know if I expect people to do that, but I think people should try, because I don't have to test any of my ball pythons or corn snakes before they leave. They live in a room by themselves. The cross-contamination hasn't happened. So you can test away when you receive it and it'll be fine. I already know that. So I don't have to worry about it.
Right.
Boas are different though. They suck ass. Let's be honest.
So, okay, that's what I want to talk about next, because I had my first boa litter this year.
Congratulations.
Thank you. But also was pretty terrified because I did talk to a lot of people who had not so good of luck, and had told me stories of their females just dying after giving birth, and the babies just rolling after coming out, and all sorts of stuff, which it all happens and everything, right? But I did hear quite a bit of these stories, and then I've even had someone tell me what you just said, boas fucking suck. And I'm like, God damn. And what's funny, when I had a bigger group of boas, and I kind of sold down, and I really wanted just to focus on IMG blood stuff, and now it's kind of like my thing. So I kicked back because of how much influence I had on hearing that boas sucked. So I was like, I don't want to deal with this. So if I deal with it, better be just maybe 4 instead of fucking 14, so.
Right. Yeah. Boas are fickle, as a species, because they'll devastate some people, and none of them will go 1 year. And so that's why a lot of people fled from boas to ball pythons. But let me just say, now that I have like a fully tested boa colony that's arena negative multiple times, they breed very reliably, which is crazy to even say. Like, and they don't die after they give birth. So that was something I experienced with the previous collection. A lot of people complain about. And I'm not saying you can't die from like, you know, a twisted oviduct or like a malpositioned baby that's not coming out correctly. Totally still happens. But they are much better at breeding and being a productive animal if they also don't have arenavirus.
Damn.
What do I know though? So I test the adult before pairing and then the mother right after she gives birth. And her post-birth test is the one that signifies to my buyers that, to me, this litter is collectively safe because she can vertically transmit across the ovary, maybe across the snake equivalent of placenta. They don't even have one of those, or the uterus. They don't have one of those. So but they don't always. And then they could be contaminated within the cage. So if she is negative, her babies are most likely negative also. The probability of somehow it skipping her and then from the male intercepting the babies is very rare.
So I tested my boas for everything about 2 years ago. But I'm curious if I should test her now since she just gave birth like 2 months ago.
Like I said, boas are a bitch. We have had like anecdotal evidence of them being like negative. Get stressed out from birth, and then they start to pop positive again. So
Wow.
I'm not trying to like piss you off or anything. I would just like slap a swab in there when you're doing something else, and just be like, oh yeah, still negative, great. 99.99% of the time, statuses are the same because the test is quite good. And the snakes are usually like showing what they're doing, but we just have evidence of some sort of trickery where the snake's immune system is so good. It has suppressed the infection so well. It is undetectable for a while. And so the gold standard for boa collection should be long-term tested boa collections that have like a long history of generations of negative animals making more negative animals. And if you see someone who's very successful with boas and it isn't testing, their animals are probably negative because that's just how you have good success with boas is they're healthy.
Right. Well, time will tell. I got like four swabs left, so I'm not worried about it.
Yeah, you're doing great. Your snakes are fine. I promise.
Okay, let's talk about what you have. Like, what are some things that you are gonna want to quickly pick back up when you move? And I mean, like, what are the most passionate projects that you have going on right now that you could kind of talk about for us?
I really like dark, busy clowns in ball pythons. I don't know. I'm sure you do too. So I'm hoping after we move, I can get like a Wookiee clown combo to like. I hope if he was like an early 2022 male. I haven't bought shit since like December, and it's killing me. So I'm like, we gotta move. So there's no quarantine time. So busy, complicated, dark clowns is where it's at. And I have like desert ghost stuff too, and everything everybody else has. But for the most part, I have like building blocks. Like I have 50 or something different het clown combo females and clown combo females. Both are all young. But I'm gonna run something dark, beautiful, and magical over all of those to make the different dark combos that I'm interested in moving forward.
No.
Yeah, I also like how the calico spot nose yellow clown looks like a Pompeii without all the work.
Mm-hmm.
That's something I'm like moving towards too. Is sort of, and we call it around here the non-pay because it's not a Pompeii. It's not a Pompeii. Yeah. So I just wanted to like work on calico clown combos with dark stuff and spot nose yellow belly to make not Pompeii equivalents of those because they happen to just ironically look pretty similar.
So if we're looking at your projects at a financial standpoint, the ball pythons is the foundation for all this. Like this is what you're hoping on is betting on, or am I wrong?
I don't know, man. It's hard to say. Like my collection is in thirds, so like I have about a third boas and a third ball pythons and a third corn snakes, colubrids, and I might have more money in the boas, but boas just take longer to grow up, and they don't. Frankly, they don't sell as well. It takes longer to sell the full sort of amount of a litter, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, they're
Cheaper
definitely
boas
not.
sell better than cheaper ball pythons, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I can tell you. I mean, my boa stuff sell pretty good, but I mean, I wasn't selling high end stuff. I mean, I can only imagine like the higher end boa stuff being a little bit more trickier to sell. You know, like unless you have a legit following. Like I will say, there's somebody out there who I followed for a while who I respect his boa game to the fullest. Richard Cisneros from the Boa Kid.
Yeah.
Anyways, he's
RC
from LA.
Pastels.
Yep, dude,
Mhm.
fucking a monster at boas, and he sells out every year, dude. Like his shit's gone. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like,
Yeah, the boa industry is smaller than the ball python industry, which is both good and bad because then there's less competition to like produce in certain slots, but there's also like less morphs and less people buying at the high end for sure. So you end up sitting on some of your high end stuff longer because they're just going to, you know, like the bigger breeders, and your pet level stuff sells faster. And then like a ball python at the pet level, you can't give them away. You're trying to sneak them into people's, you know, grocery shopping at the store. I'm kidding. Don't do that. So it's definitely a different economy, but I feel like I could sell a higher end ball python much faster than a higher end boa because there's a lot more people at that level in the ball python market. So having multiple classes of animals is just a way of like mitigating my exposure to the different markets. So if ball pythons goes down, I still have boa babies to sell. If colubrids, and the colubrids, they're just like a sort of a passion project, and they're relatively easy to take care of and feed. And corn snakes are dope as fuck. People need to like corn snakes more.
Like my corn snakes.
Please hurry up and like them.
I feel like I should work with a species to kind of help boost its like what it needs, you know.
Yeah.
But then again, like I'm already getting rid of species that aren't relevant to me right now. So I'm like,
I mean, there's some species you work with because you're like passionate about figuring out the species,
right?
And there's some species you work with because you think people just need to like them if they don't.
So mangrove, I had a huge group of fucking massive mangroves, and god damn, they were beautiful, but they were so unpredictable. And then I had my female latch onto my thumb, where you know I like. She's chomping on it. I'm hoping she would just let go, and she's not letting go. So I have to rip my thumb out, and her tooth gets stuck in my thumb for like almost a year. And I just was like, dude, why am I keeping these? Like I was trying to breed them, but I wasn't giving them too much attention. I feel like with colubrids, I just never have it. Like, I'm not that I won't figure it out, but like it's not lining up to what I already know, and I don't feel like I'm passionate enough to adjust to figure out the colubrids right now. But then again, I had these fucking mangroves, man. These things were fucking intimidating. Sometimes they were escape artists too. As soon as I put them in a fucking 4x2, like if I didn't have it latched right or something, goddamn, they would get out. And scariest thing is fucking walking into a pitch black room and there's a fucking 8-foot mangrove like lingering over your head. Okay, my wife's been batting the head before, like. God. Anyways, I just
so mangroves and fucking Drymarchon and all the big, really cool colubrids that everyone who's actually into pythons and boas is like, that's also cool. Those are cool, but like you have to sort of look like lower down the cool factor to find like the snakes are actually like easy to keep.
Yes,
you know, and like good at selling to pet homes where they won't kill them or run away. You know, like so like Dion's rat snakes, and I think the Jap rats are like the best sort of like. And Russians are like the best compromise between not a shit and it looks pretty good and it gets big enough that it's cool, but it doesn't smear its shit everywhere. So like you just got to like pick a species that's cool, but not a pain in the ass to take care of. Because I have hundreds of snakes. I need easy keepers.
All Boega species I kept would shit every 2 days. And I'm like, why does it keep shitting? You know what I mean? And it would just keep shitting. And I'm like,
where does it find all that shit to keep shitting? It's crazy.
You know, and then like, you know, I did multiple different ways of feeding them. Like, you know, I was told, you know, once every 10 days for some, and then some said, oh, every 5 days, just small meals. So I don't know. Either way, no matter how I fed them, they just always shit and they grew quick, you know, and but they were my messiest snakes. Every time I'm like, you know, like I can't stand to see shit blasted against a tub or wall. Like I have to clean it. Even if I just cleaned it the day before, there's something I have to clean it, and those are always my pain in the ass snakes. It was always those fucking boegas. But I don't know, like, there's people out there who are just dialed in with these boegas and colubrids, and I'm like, listen, if I'm going to be doing this, I want to be on a mission to get into where they're at. And I just didn't feel like I was on a mission with the colubrids. So, that's why all I have is one Sulawesi mangrove. I have one of those pure black ones, which I'm raising up, and it's cute, but I'm probably going to get rid of that too, to be honest.
Right. I mean, they're beautiful. They're cool. I love them. I'd love to have them, but I'm mostly interested in like animals that are good in like a production mindset. Like if I have trouble breeding them or have trouble placing them, I'm not sure I need a bunch of them yet. I'm not in like the grand tour of of like, I don't want a zoo, right? I don't want a zoo. I want a farm.
Yeah, and it's just I don't know, like zoos are. I mean, I go to zoos and I'm just really not impressed, to be honest. I mean, I see some zoos and I'm like, whoa, like like I don't know. I just feel like I don't want to get too much into it because I do have people in the zoo field and I respect them, but I just feel like zoos I used to look at them as a kid. I definitely look at them now. I'm like, wow, it definitely it's not right.
Oh my God. All right, I'm going to tell you something. Don't tell any of your friends. There's a post on a Facebook group and it was like, look at these cute snakes. And it was a fucking dart frog riding on the back of a boa imperator in a big display enclosure with emerald tree boas above it. And I'm just like, fuck this. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with the mods? What's wrong with the comments? I'm like, this is so cute and fun. And I'm like, does that imperator have arena? Because those emeralds do now. And they're like, what the fuck is that frog doing in there? Was that necessary? Is this like an aesthetic thing? Or do we just want to give every single animal disease possible we possibly can? And the mods are like, you're a bitch. Fuck you. And I'm like, you shouldn't be celebrating this bullshit. Put those animals in separate enclosures, please. God, it's not cool. You're an idiot.
What about
that zoo?
I do have friends doing some insane shit, like building some massive enclosures where they want to have like little birds flying around with their snake, like their massive snake. But isn't the bird shit bad? Like, can't disease be transferred like that? Like, no matter how clean the bird is, like, can't bird shit in that water and then the snake drink the water? That has to be bad at some point, I would think, right?
My favorite part is when people are like, obviously spillover events don't happen. You're like, what? But then you go into the literature and there's lots of situations where like, there's a paper where a ball python or two ball pythons were cohab with 3 toads. And the ball pythons did not decide to eat the toads. And the toads somehow tolerated what was happening. But the ball pythons got infected by an amoeba that was only ever found in toads and became ill. And one of them died and one of them recovered with treatment. And you're like, every time you introduce animals that don't live together, or even if they do live together, you have the chance of a spillover event. So you should think really hard if you want to keep the animals that are in that enclosure alive still. If you want to put birds in there, fucking go for it. But you might be causing the next fucked up thing. Congratulations. You did it. Columbus Zoo. Fuck off. Never fucking can't handle it. I'll burn it down if I go there. I'm not going.
I listen, I don't know. I just feel like the one thing that kind of just fucking always ruffles my feathers is somebody who has no experience with a certain species who thinks they can mimic a zoo cage or zoo setup, like without even figuring it out, like if it's healthy or anything like that. Like, and this is why I avoid Facebook as much as I can, because in these group pages where the fuck are they called? What am I? Facebook groups. Fucking lames. Anyways, there's these people there that just love to come ask for questions.
Oh my God.
And then they refuse to take the advice in the comments. And then like a day later or a week later, it either shows it dead or they disappear. But it's kind of like, dude, like these fucking idiot morons who don't even want to try to take advice. It's like, and
it's okay, sort of. Like, I get it. Like, you want to have some, morning geckos in the cage above your dart frogs because they're not sharing the same space. But, they didn't test any of that for anything. They are just trying it out. And most of the time, they're probably fine. But we know forward flies can transport crypto. It'll be coming out in Dr. Zach Loafman's paper soon. So if forward flies can transport crypto, can forward flies transfer other infectious diseases? So So a really plush bioactive enclosure with like an unmitigated forest fly problem, I don't know what you're signing up for. You could be signing up for nothing or a fucking disaster as usual. So
Since the silent killers are the topic of this podcast, I want to ask you what your thoughts are on something that I've used. I've used it less because how many more people tell me it's like, oh my god, I've had.
Oh my god, hot shot pest strips.
Yes.
Bitch, please.
I've been miteless for a minute, and I'm scared. I have not used pest strips. I've not had pest strips in my room in like I want to say almost 3-4 months now, and I'm terrified. I'm waiting to walk in and see it, but it has and. My fucking ass put all my ball pythons on cocoa chip now. So now no more paper. I used to do paper as a safety net because I was so scared, but I haven't had it, thank God. And you know why? Because I have not added an import. I have not added any fucking like random weird fucked up shit that I used to do at that point in time. Like I don't want to say I'm closed off. I still add shit, but it's expensive shit and it's pretty clean. So I don't know. I do have a packet of them. I'm so tempted just to rip it open and hang it. So tell me why not?
We have a local breeder here who was poisoned by hot shot pest strips. I don't think they want me to say their name.
How's the proof? I looked up poison. Okay, he wasn't dead, right? He didn't die, right?
No, he's fine.
So okay.
I mean, I don't know if he's fine. He had long-term like liver damage, but so it says on the package, do not use near people or animals in an enclosed space. So depending on how much ventilation there is in your room, you are either doing just enough poisoning that they're okay or too much poisoning and they're hurt, including you. So I wouldn't ignore the package.
Hold on. Can we rewind this? Let's go back to your guy or your homie or whoever, your neighbor, whoever that had this. How do we know it came from pest strips? Like, did the doctor say, sir, you inhaled this yellow strip? Like, how do we know? Like, how do we know?
I guess I have not seen paper evidence, but he apparently had panels done on his liver of the status of his liver, and it was showing that it was like in a
is he an alcoholic?
I don't know, but
does he drink? Everyone knows if someone drinks. Shit, I fucking know.
Probably a little bit, but like so their situation, and I don't want to put words in their mouth because I don't know it perfectly, but they had a collection and they put up pest strips because they were sent. I mean, this is shady shit too. They were sent animals with mites in, like, for wholesale purposes, with mites in the thing, and the person knew it, so they like fucking pammed the inside of the box. So the snakes were huffing that shit on the whole way there. They came out with mites. They're like, "Fuck, I have a bunch of mites," and they didn't. The person trusted the seller, and then so that's fucked up all by itself. The fucking wholesale market is ruined. And then she's like, "Oh, I was told to put up pest strips," and so the situation was not very well ventilated. So she was working in there, and a lot of snakes started to roll. And then they were testing for arena. It wasn't arena. It was the pest strips, actually, because once they were out, the snakes were doing better, and the migraines and whatever sort of pain was gone.
You have something against Hotspot. That's the company. I don't know what they did to you, but this is a false story. I'm just kidding.
No, it's not.
I've used this shit for years. I'm still alive.
I know, but you probably have good ventilation, right? So better than that person.
Shit's aired. But like, also, like, listen, I don't want to keep ignoring this. This is why I haven't used it. I just feel like it's around the corner. But this is why there's Prevenamite. This is why there's stuff to prevent.
I mean, like the prophylactic use of pesticides is bad in a farming context too. Like, we know that insects will become immune to pesticides and worms will become immune to wormers with excessive use. So do you want to be breeding the newest super mite, MJ, or do you want to try to use it only when necessary? Right? Like, so we need to be like, just like we need to be more sensitive to antibiotic use. You should not be blasting your colony with antibiotics every time they look a little sniffly, and not even culturing them if you also don't know if it's Nido or not. That's how we make the new snake MRSA. Congratulations. Don't do that either.
What about blasting them with snake lean? What's your thoughts on the snake lean, the Da Vinci lean, the snake juice?
Am I going to get sued?
I don't know. I'm on the fence. I have my homies Alex and Sandra sending me a tiny bottle, and I'm gonna try it, I guess, on fucking one of my emeralds. I'm gonna put it
All
to
right.
the test.
I'll give you my laydown. It's probably fine. It hasn't killed any snakes yet that I'm aware, right?
Okay.
But to me, the mode of action isn't like you're giving them some vitamins of an unknown dose to a snake with an unknown need. And some of them are potentially lethal because they're fat soluble. That's a problem, but probably the dose is low enough because it hasn't killed any snakes yet. The action I think that's happening here is just like putting something into the snake is upregulating the digestive tract, right? So that is causing like a net negative calorie within the body. So the body's like, I guess I have to digest this because I was forced to eat it. So I'm going to upregulate the digestive tract, upregulate the size of the heart, increase blood plasma. But now I'm hungry because I'm like net negative over that small meal. And so the next week or whatever, they'll go eat. So people used to do this all the time with Flagyl, with other sorts of oils with no vitamins in it. And so just the inception of like 5 mils of some sort of food would cause the snake to go on to eat because of that process. That's my theory. The product is fine, I guess. People can do it if they want. I don't think it's killing any snakes. So go ahead. But if you wanted to do the same process, you could do it with something else, like carnivore care, the food replacement.
If you and I were a partnership on that emerald, and what you say I have to consider, would you let me do the snake lean on that snake, or would you advise me against it and say don't do it, MJ, just chill?
I would just chill.
Done.
Also, like I wonder if like the snake just
I'm returning it. Don't send me that juice. I don't want it. I don't want it.
I don't think it hurts snakes though, or would be bad. I just think
I don't want to go that route. I feel like I had Ryan McVeigh and his wife on, and they went ape shit over it. They're like, "Are you kidding me?" Like the nerve. And I'm like, I kind of feel the same way because this came from like the same people using vanilla extract and shit. And I'm like, what the fuck, vanilla extract? Like that shit ain't popping in the wild. Like what is happening? I just wanted it to be more natural. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I think people get really concerned when ball pythons don't eat and other snakes don't eat. And there's obviously like they should be eating stochastically in the wild. So we should try to mimic that in captivity. And if they're choosing not for health reasons, but just to fast, like boas are like notorious for being monsters, but they need those like lean times to do body recomposition where they like lean out their fat and they get sort of juicy. So you want them to be able to recomp. So maybe your emerald just needs to recomp.
My boy Andrew, shout out to Andrew Acevedo, his female was off. He got an import and he like I have recent inquired things going on with me and him, but then this one girl that he's not going to send me was in a position where she was like, I don't want to say crashing, but she didn't look good. She was not eating for almost 6 months. And then she just took a rat out of nowhere. Boom. You know what I mean? And just turned on. And that gave me a lot of hope. You know, I think I got my female at Arlington in February, and she's a big girl. Like she's big. I'm still watching her, you know, looking at her scalation, the quality of her scales. She looks beautiful. You know what I mean? But she just doesn't want nothing to do with nothing. Like no matter what I offer, before anyone tells me to say to offer chicks, I got a freezer full of chicks, assholes. Don't fucking tell me what to do, please. But I'm just saying, I offer everything, and she just wants nothing to do with it. So I get to the point where I've been through this ringers with imports, and I don't like to press them. Like I don't want to. I'm not somebody who will keep offering every week. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm just going to out or even look for her to give me signs. But even right now, I can tell you, Jessica, she's in S position. She's cruising now. She's being more active. So the thing is, every time I do something about it, she just changes up. She goes, okay, now I'm not interested. Like she'll literally go perch. And I'm like, what the fuck? So I don't know. I listen, these are snakes. They're going to eat when they want to eat. They know when they want to eat. So I feel like we just need to continue to trust the process.
I mean, is she gravid?
I don't know. I mean,
she's an import?
She's an import. I mean, nobody really knows what she went through, what she was before she came. Literally, the guy had her for a week. She had just came in on a fresh shipment. So the guy never even took her to his to his facility. Like I'm talking about fresh off the fucking cart. You know what I'm saying? Which I don't advise. Just so you guys know, don't do what I do. Okay. But this snake is far away from everything, and it's I'm just dying to get it to eat to really see what's up with it. You know what I'm saying? Because with an emerald, you feed that fucker a good sized meal, and if it pukes it up, it's a done deal. Like that's
right. Emeralds get knocked down by crypto, which I find interesting because most of the boas and pythons actually like can harbor crypto and do okay, but emeralds roll right away. Yeah.
There's
So that'd be one. Sorry.
There's no recovery from it. Like, I don't care how small the meal. People try to resort to like way smaller meals. But that's not going to fix the problem. Like, that's just, it's eventually, like, you got to understand, I have emeralds that eat fucking big meals. Like, they can handle meals. Like, this, the whole myth of like, oh, if you feed a big meal to an emerald, it'll get regurgitation disease and it can't bounce back. That's not true. If your snake regurgitates, it's sick to begin with. That's the problem.
Right. Yeah, and then they have that weird avian chlamydia that might be transferable from birds too. So a lot of people don't even want to feed them birds because they're scared domestic birds will exacerbate it or something.
They're being imported with birds, I heard too. Like there's a big like scare on a lot of these emerald. Oh, great! What the fuck? I'm an idiot. I'm just saying there was a lot of big scare of these like emeralds being exposed to birds and shit like that.
Right.
And they're in all fucked up and sick and basically destroying people's collections. You know what I mean?
Right. So that's something we don't have a test for is the avian chlamydia that may or may not be causing emerald regurgitation syndrome. So like that would be something where like if we can get some onus together, we could try to sequence whatever viruses that are in the emeralds and see if we can identify the one that is causing that so you could test them on intake. But so snakes are fucking complicated and they're all weird and they all have different biologies and they're from different places. And so testing is just one of those tools, but it'd be much easier than just to be like, oh, watching them roll again. Just you can get them out of the bag and be like, all right, this one's going to be good or not.
All right. Listen, I have a wrap up question before we get to the hot seat questions. And I'm curious, from your standpoint, you dabble with a couple different stuff, but if we're talking about the ball python game right now, you have people who come in on all different levels, some just wanting to be like boutique keepers, like, just chill, having fun. Then you have some that just want to come in and fucking take over. Right. But the whole reality of being a full-time ball python keeper, how much of reality is that to you in your mind? Like, do you feel like it is very common nowadays and it shouldn't be something people should be scared about doing? Or do you feel like that's like kind of like you're really setting yourself up for disaster by doing that? Like, what would be your take on that?
That one's hard. I think so it's very easy to be a ball python keeper, very easy to be a ball python breeder, very easy to be a ball python hatchling, raiser. It's hard to sell ball pythons.
Yeah, because you got to be a people person. That's
yes, why. And like. There are still millions and millions and millions of people who want a snake and they want a cute, boopable fucking snake, whatever. And they want one, but they're waiting for one that's from the person who's going to help them. So I've sold more snakes to women, middle-aged women, not even families with kids, just women that want a snake because they saw it on Instagram. They thought it was cute. Almost most of my ball python sales are that. And they are like at the pet price range, but like that's a whole market of people that are interested in what you have to produce if you're willing to talk to them at their level as like a pet owner. There's nothing wrong with that. That is the millions of people that we could sell $400 snakes to all day.
Right.
So there are many more full-time ball python breeding businesses that can be started to cater to all different kinds of people that we haven't gotten to. I mean, I'm a woman. Somebody sold me a snake as a child when I was 12. It's changed my life. I'm a different person. So the more kids we can give snakes to, the more people you can sell snakes to later on. It's part of the awesome Ponzi scheme. But I think it's okay if someone wants to decide to be a ball python breeder. It's just you have to think about things like a business from the beginning. None of this like I formed my LLC 5 years later after I spent $20,000 weirdly over that time on bumblebees. Please don't do that.
Don't do that.
If you want to target paycheck snakes, great. If you want to target high end, great. If you want to target, wholesale bananas and just all of those animals have margin in it. It just depends on how you can set up your operation and how much your carrying costs are for your production. Even a fucking $15 corn snake sold to PetSmart is profitable because they made that shit for $5 at scale.
How much do you think vending at shows could be a huge benefit to getting your name out there?
So I hate vending shows because people touch my snakes. But I make them sanitize and wear gloves. And then I'm like, don't touch my table with your body. Don't touch the snake on your body. Don't let your kid lay on my table.
Get your fucking kid's snot off my goddamn table.
Don't touch me. Also, don't put me near anybody gross. I like to have like a barrier of normal people. I'm like a fucking mess because it's, fucking show promoters need to ban people for bringing mites. Stop letting them in. What the fuck are you doing? It's okay. I'll get over it one of these days. But yes, you should do shows because still to this day, you can sell the high-end stuff on Morph Market for sure all day long and the medium end stuff. But anything sub 400 or 500, it's a tough sell on Morph Market for all species. You're competing with a lot of people, but you're not competing with as many people, even at a crowded show, because you might be the only one there with your banana yellow belly pastel.
When was the last show you've done?
I did one in April.
Okay. So do you have any more you got planned for this year?
I have one in next month. So the Pack Noirs Puyallup. It's the 16th and 17th.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah.
I heard good stuff about those shows.
Yeah, they're actually like very big and clean,
right?
With good vendors. They're just sort of like it's a very young market. So there's no like old farts that have been here for 400 years like there are on like East Coast shows. You should fly out. It'll be the last P&W show for me.
I know. Fuck. I have Trap Fest the week before, and I'm planning on going so goddamn ham. I might need a week of recovery, and then I'm actually going to Canada. Like literally, like I think.
The next week. Oh, then it's not worth it.
Yeah, July's packed, and then we're going to Oklahoma at the end of the month. So, wait. When do you move to Oklahoma? When's your move?
Probably like right after that show. Like maybe, like I was gonna clean up, sell some of the 2022 stock. Just so there's less moving parts.
I'll be in Oklahoma July 29th through through the 1st or something like that.
For Animal Con?
No, I can't tell you what it is, but I'll tell you after the show. But I can't say what it is. But it's an event.
It's a surprise.
Animal Con.
But we might actually be like there at the same time, sort of.
Cool.
So, yeah.
But what I was saying is, I definitely want to eventually head back up to the P&W. I had a good time, going up to go see Dylan. And I just, I went to school up there. I fucking loved Washington. I had like a piece of like Zen, like just a piece of me that reminded me like what Washington felt like. Just the air is better to breathe. It's just so much green. There are some fucking weirdos up there, but there's weirdos everywhere. But really, there's a lot of weirdos in Washington. I would say that.
But yeah, not enough homeless people. That's a good feature.
But I love it, man. Listen, at the end of the day, if it came down to like let's just say money was not an option, and my wife was like, honey, wherever you want to go, I'm down. And I had to leave California, I would really consider Washington. I mean, Washington is the only place I could see myself settling in at other than Cali where I could be sane and like be okay. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
the snakes breed good here because it rains forever in the winter. So then like they're always having like a low pressure front move in over and over again. They're like, let's fuck.
Hey, it's fucking 24/7 Pound Town.
Yeah, around here.
Shit. Listen, what a great episode, Jessica. I appreciate you so much. Wait. We did not talk. I got it. Hold on. I'm so sorry. I want to know what the game plan is, and go ahead and drop the name of your podcast. I want all this information right now. Let's get it out there. You have a podcast with what's her name?
Janet King, ASM Royal Tales.
Awesome. And your guys' podcast name is what?
The Holdback Rack Podcast.
All right. And what was what influenced you to do this, and what made you influence you not to tell me? I'm just curious.
So I obviously you were an influence, and From the Ground Up, which is now defunct, and Snakes and the Fat Man, and Old Bullshit, and just people who were like talking about the industry with some as real as they could. And then I liked stuff that was about production and about the functionality of doing the business and what morphs were worth it and what weren't. And so I decided to do a podcast, but was like building into that, like testing and biosecurity as part of it. So obviously we're into morphs and we like to make fun of cinnamon. And we talk about getting into new species or declining the species or letting a species go because it's not working for us anymore. So we're the same people as you, but we added in biosecurity and still trying to like work the process and talk about it. And it's two women. And I don't think two women have ever talked alone with each other before.
Dude, I love it.
That's a joke.
I love
And
it.
I am also like a fucking dumpster fire, trailer trash. So most of it is just me saying inappropriate things. No children allowed. Please keep them away.
But also, what you're not getting is some bullshit acting, fucking wannabe piece of information. You're getting genuine. You're getting the real deal, Jessica. Which why I listen to your guys' shit. I don't listen to much. I mean, I have Joe Rogan and some big podcasts I listen to, but reptile podcasts I don't listen to. And whoever's offended, go. I'm glad. But I'm saying right now, guys, do me a favor. Go to YouTube and subscribe to the Whole Back Rack podcast because it's very informative and it's basically like a girl MJ just fucking like she cuts. I love it. This is awesome.
So, that is the highest form of flattery I've ever heard. A girl MJ. Thank you. Yeah, it's more like, hey, we can shoot the shit just like you. And we have all the knowledge of the industry, but we're just sort of talking through like an evergreen topic and then just some news shit. And hopefully people like it. And some people, for some reason, have liked it. Thank you.
Well, people like real, man, because they don't have to question you. You know, when you say it how it is, there's no question about it. You know, and so many people do things that are questionable nowadays. You know, Jessica.
Right. It's not fake. It's almost too real. Maybe dial it back. No, and we're also on like all the normal. There's an audio only version on like iTunes and everything else too.
Sweet. Every platform. Make sure at the end of this, shoot me the links for that, and I'll put them in the description below so people can listen. Not everyone. I know. It's crazy how my numbers are better than YouTube on audio platforms like Apple.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Look, you know, I mean, because for one thing, YouTube, if you do want to get the full experience, you have to pay like $16 a month. You know, like to like have to like listen and have your phone down, like you know,
right?
What I mean?
Yeah,
keep it open and shit. A lot of people they don't want to, burn their batteries and shit. Oh, God bless them. So I don't know. Either way, I'll get those information. I'll put in the description below. But fuck yeah, what an episode! Thank you, Jessica. Let's get these hot seat. You ready for these?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Hot seat questions for Jessica. Hey, Hare, right? Did I say the last name's Hare? Just like
right. I married someone very unfortunate.
What's your maiden name?
Curtis.
Curtis, nice. Damn, that's gangster. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Here we go. Hot seat questions for Jessica Hare from Hare Hollow Farms. Are you ready, Jessica?
Yes, sir.
Oh, wait. That's the trap guest list. Hold on. Okay, here we go. Frozen Thought or Live?
Live.
A cut or no cut?
Cut.
Cut on what day?
56.
Red Chondro Neo or yellow Chondro Neo?
Red.
Favorite boa species?
Imperator.
Pre-first shed meal or post-first shed meal?
Post-first shed meal.
Yay imports or boo imports?
Yay imports.
One reptile. Okay, hold on. Let's say, like, honest to God, let's say you were a lawmaker right now. Like, let's say you were in charge of approving imports coming in and out, but like they're like, go fuck yourself on the testing. Would you still allow it?
Yes, but people, yeah. I mean, like, I like the fucking shilling shit for morphs. Like, that's fine. The hobby thrives on that. So you need imports to do that. And also, like, think of like Nebulosa. We lost Boa and Nebulosa, and we're never going to get it back. I think there's some in Russia. They're gone. We killed all of them in the U.S. I can't get Quadra Vigata, the Alafe, the Japanese four-line. You can't import it. We killed them all, so they're gone. So if I could get all those and then close the borders again, that'd be great.
One reptile you could import from around the world, any reptile, what would it be?
Oh, brother. Probably the Japanese four lines. They're so beautiful, and I can't have. Or the blue-black Boega. You know those? You can't get those either.
You're talking about the the Divergence? Are they different? Are they even different?
I don't know. I don't think I've seen them in a long time. I used to have like a list of weird shit that I liked. But yeah.
What's one reptile nobody should ever import ever again? Leave it alone.
Sulcatas.
Respect. Thank you. Respect to the turtles. Yay sports or boo sports?
Boo sports. Fuck them.
Big flexor or no flexor?
Big flexor. I don't know.
That's the big flexor.
Fucking, I got big ovaries. It's fine. I'll just be honest about it.
Flexor. Steak or fish?
Steak.
Favorite cut of steak?
Ribeye.
Nice. Yay alcohol or boo alcohol?
Only on Margarita Monday.
Margarita Monday?
It's a woo girl problem.
Is that your day to drink Monday or what?
No, I'm just being weird. No, we used to like. Here's a fucking weird intermission. We used to go to like margaritas, and then I would be drunk, and I'd be like, drive me to the salamander. So we would like herp drunk, just a bunch of women, like catcalling in the woods looking for salamanders in college. That was my college. So but yay alcohol for that.
Favorite alcohol beverage? Margarita.
No, I'll make like fucking white trash, like porch juice version where it's like, you
Like
know,
shit.
fucking Fresca and some lime juice and I'll,
Damn.
then some tequila.
Nirvana or Green Day?
Green Day, I guess.
Nice.
Not
West
my
Coast rap or East Coast rap?
West Coast rap.
Favorite West Coast rapper of all time?
Probably Dr. Dre.
Nice. Little word association. First thing to come to mind: milk.
Titties.
Cocoa.
Husk.
FedEx shipping.
Fuck me.
First time ball python breeder.
Fuck me even more.
Pet tuber.
Go herping. Get a haircut, please.
Oh,
Stop flipping, please. Stop. That'd be great.
Stuck shed.
Soak.
Day 60.
You should have already cut, probably.
Thank you. Instagram trolls.
Eat a dick.
If you had to eliminate one style of keeper, is it going to be a venomous handler or is it going to be somebody who does not Nido test?
You son of a bitch. Fucking tester. I'm a single party voter. If you could like put that stuff up your butt, that cobra up your butt, and I'd probably be okay with it as long as it was tested for paramyxovirus.
Hey man, why are you putting that snake's head in your mouth? Oh, it's tested. Cool, go for it.
Yeah, it's fine. It's clean.
That's my man. Thank you. Oh my God, Jessica. Thanks for making this episode so awesome. I appreciate your support. I'm really excited for your podcast venture. Let me know what I can do to help you or support you in any way. I'm down. But really, we had over 70 people at one point tapping into this episode. So what do you have to say to everyone who gained some stuff from here and really are here to support you and want you to blow up?
All right, I love everybody, but if you don't test your shit, then your pee-pee will fall off. So if you want to prevent that from happening, go to fishhead.com or vetdna.com, and your pee-pee might actually get bigger, like 12 inches and stacked. So like if you're really into that, let's go.
Is that a guarantee? I'm just curious.
I don't know. It's the internet. You can say what you want. I'm pretty sure.
Oh my God, Jessica, I appreciate you so much. Enjoy
you.
the rest of your night. And
You too.
Again, what an awesome episode. But that's a wrap for Jessica. Hare Hollow Farm, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Jessica. Have a good night.
Thank you so much.
Awesome.
Bye.
Awesome girl, man. Good shit. Thank you so much. Everyone who tapped in. I appreciate all the love and support. I hope you guys get those likes up for Jessica. Whoever just tapped in late, no problem. Let's go and get the likes up. But what an amazing episode. I appreciate everyone who tapped in. Yeah, good shit. I learned a lot. I know that. Appreciate everyone. This week is going to be awesome. This Thursday night, like I said, it's going down. Remote podcast in person with my boy, Brandon Wheeler. Brandon Wheeler is tapped in heavily with some amazing scrub python projects, carpet python breeder. Dude's fucking been around, man. I'm telling you right now, not a lot of people understand how like well seasoned Brandon Wheeler is with his shit. I'm telling you, we're gonna catch up this Thursday with him. Matt Summers will be in the building, and this episode was brought to you by this episode, remote episode here in particular, will be brought to you by Scale Fins and Feathers, my homie Josh. So go give him a follow on Instagram. Go give my boy Brandon Wheeler a follow on Instagram. And then more importantly, guys, please go give Jessica Hare from Hare Hollow Farms a follow on Instagram right now. And also go subscribe to her YouTube podcast, the podcast on YouTube, The Whole Back Rack. And I appreciate everyone who tapped in, guys. Thank you so much. It's going to be an awesome week. You guys have an amazing rest of your night. And I will see you guys here this Thursday night. It's your boy tapping out. And I'll see you Thursday. Cheers.